find the ground rules again, and we'll get started on the baseball tutorial and panel discussion on Little League Baseball. Moderator, MacClary.
Okay.
Do we have a pro and a con?
Well, that's what I just want to get involved in. Some of these things are not cut and dry pro-con. Some of them are, there are certainly gray areas involved in all these issues. So I just figure we'll shoot them up and hope for the best. I think these things should provoke some thought from everybody, I would hope. And therefore, we'll start. My first area I'd like to discuss is the pros and cons of sending a child to Little League Baseball who really isn't into sports. There are a lot of fathers out there who grew up playing Little League, grew up, college, pro even. Their children, when they were younger, are not very athletic, yet they push them into sports. And I'd just like to throw that out to you guys. Feel free, anyone. Okay, Mark.
Well, I strongly believe that everyone should play sports at some time in their life. And when they're young, it's the best time because they have less commitments from other things. Education isn't that difficult at that time. So, plus, it's also they also have the opportunity to learn and find out if they're going to be successful at it, and if they want to continue on. But if they don't want to continue on, that's fine. When they're young, the point is everyone should play a sport because, I really believe that sports are a metaphor for life. And the skills that you learn through sports, there's so many. Of course, I think every human emotion can be found, that you find in life, can be found in sports. You have things like confidence, you have things like getting down, you have excitement, you have communication, you have teamwork, you have, almost every emotion, and I think that, so that it's important that everyone plays sports.
Okay, let me throw this one over to Ed, because Ed, we know that you don't play baseball here, and I don't know your history, so I don't know if you played in high school or you're younger or what, so let's hear what you have to say about this.
I agree to a certain point, but I think that sports are not for everybody. There are certain kids who are not good, and like it or not, sports are competitive, and the ones who don't succeed are going to be shunned, and I don't think that's very good for their self-esteem. And I wouldn't push a kid into sports who's not into it, but at a young age, I think every kid should have the opportunity to play a sport.
Should we specifically, just talk about sports, or we're talking about Little League Baseball?
Well, I think basically all the undertones, as far as youth sports, Little League Baseball is far and away the top sport, because I don't think you can find a kid that's not playing Little League Baseball.
Yeah, everything I said applies.
Right. I think you were more focusing on baseball. You were saying on that, basically.
But even by the time you get to the age where you play Little League Baseball, most kids know whether they're into it or not.
When they're 8?
I don't think even at that age. I played myself, and I love that. Some of my best times there. But,
if you don't mind me making this personal, when did you stop?
I stopped in about 7th or 8th grade. I stopped. It wasn't really Little League. It was a sports group called Astros in New York City.
So
I got it.
All right. That was because you growing up and you sort of didn't like it, or you weren't good, or nothing. I don't mean that.
No, I was very good. I was going to play in high school, but it was the same season as tennis, and I played because I could be number 3 on the tennis team instead of, bench warmer on the baseball team.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, well, another question along those lines is just like the point you brought up, kids getting shunned, and that doesn't help a kid growing up. What I wanted to say was, in Little League Baseball, there are good players, there are bad players, obviously. And compared to like college or high school, that difference is a lot bigger in Little League than it is anywhere else. Agree? I think we all agree on that. Now, what I want to say is, where do you draw that line between, if you're a coach, I'm saying as a coach, where do you draw the line between winning, letting everyone play, appeasing parents, appeasing the children? Now, do you want to try and instill into a child's mind, winning is fun. You get more fun out of winning. Now, if we let you play and we lose, is that going to be fun? Or do you say, we want you out there, who gives a shit whether we win or not?
Well, I have an opinion about this, and I think one of the problems with Little League coaches in general is that generally they're not people who know the game very well, and I think the problem comes with that is that they don't teach skills very much, and I think that's a problem. They don't teach skills, they don't teach the enjoyment of the game. They're out there to push their little kids to win, and I think that's a big problem, is that I know for myself, I was lucky I had my older brother who was my coach, and he knew the game pretty well, and I mean, at 7 and 8 years old, there's certain basic skills, throwing skills, fielding, that you need to learn, that I don't think many of the coaches adequately are capable of teaching, and I think that's one of the problems, is teaching the game, first of all, is I don't think there are enough Little League coaches who can teach the kid the game. Okay? And so you get those parents, and those people are generally the ones who are screaming and yelling for their kid to win the game, in my opinion. That's my experience. And I find that to be a big problem.
Well, like I totally agree with that. And the other thing is, that's how you get your enjoyment, I think, when you're at that age. Because I don't really remember winning or losing very Little League games. I didn't treat them like that. I mean, as much, it's bad to say, when I was that age, up until I was 12, I cared about how I did, really. I mean, that's what showed to me. That's how I had fun, succeeding in the sport. And I mean, the problem is, like you said, the parents just not qualified, coach and stuff. But winning, I think winning is should not be that important in the league. It should be success through technical skill.
Well, I'll give you my example, because in Little League, I played, where I grew up, I had a neighborhood with older kids. So I've been playing with older brothers of my age. They had older brothers in 7th grade when I was like in 2nd, So I was playing hardball, throwing the ball pretty hard and hitting the ball hard when I was, 1st, 2nd grade, So I had a head start on a lot of kids my age. So my first year, my old man was the coach. We won all our games except for one. And I remember a kid on the team just crying after the game. And I was just like, big whoop. But to keep going, I don't want to keep going. But come Little League, I moved to Natick. 10 years old, we had a tryout. And, I was throwing the ball at first base. You had to throw the ball from 3rd at first. And, I was reaching no problem. Guys were, throwing the ball, 30 feet in the air and coming down in front of first base, So I got drafted pretty high by a bad team. So my 3 years of Little League, I was on a horrible team all 3 years. And I didn't even know we had a World Series. The top teams in the American League, top teams in the National League play every year. I didn't even know. My Little League, as far as I was concerned, was a waste. Because I didn't learn about winning. Sure, I definitely agree. I learned skills. But what it was I didn't enjoy much Little League until the summer when we had a travel all-star team. So I got to play with guys that were as good as I was, and better. And we got to play against teams that were as good as our team was or better. And we were great. We won the state championship, and that was baseball, not Little League during the season for me. See, I think I didn't learn baseball until I started winning.
But do you still think you got enjoyment out of the game?
That's because I love the game. I think I would have enjoyed it if I was, if I never won a game the rest of my life. But I think I'm saying I learned, and I think I got much more out of winning than I did if I lose.
Do you think losing can mar someone's perception of baseball?
Yes. Unfortunately, yes, I do. Because I think that's the way people are in life. Do you want to be poor? Do you want to be indigent? Do you want to not have a good job? No, you want to succeed. You want to do everything you possibly can do to get on top.
I think
right, but I think you're an example of losing is not really necessarily a factor. Well, you do.
Right. Okay, I agree with you there. See, but I mean, that's me, because I mean, no, I don't want to, single you out, but when you lose, you get really pissed off. Play Nintendo, you throw the controller. I mean, control the controller, I sit there and I lose, big deal. I don't even think twice about it, And you're just real competitive, and you just don't like to lose. I mean, I don't like to lose at all. I hate losing, but
I don't really have any influence on that, though, or is that just chemical makeup?
I think that's my chemical makeup.
Both. I mean, both of you.
Right.
Even if perhaps if Mark didn't play Little League, he'd still approach things in the same competitive way. I mean, I'm going to ask a question to try to bring out a question that you asked about playing card. Now, don't the rules cover that?
That's another thing, actually, I was going to bring up. That was one of the things I was going to say, the rules. What do you think
You
about
did ask that question.
No, I didn't, actually.
About,
Right. How much
to play.
Yeah.
In the league I played in, we had, say we played 7-inning games, so I think you had to play a minimum of 5 innings, depending on how many players there, which enabled. But whatever it was, we played, I don't know, it was like 15 years ago. We had to play, say 4 to 6.
30?
Depending, 22 or 7. Depending on, so the coaches, if you have a decent coach, it all goes back to coaching. If you're going to be in a close game, then you're going to have the players, the good players in there at the end, so you can also win and have fun. I mean, sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes you have a little run. The 7-year-old, when he's playing against 11-year-olds batting in the bottom of the 6th inning, and you lose. But I don't think that, like he said before, I couldn't tell you the outcome of any of my games. I mean, the biggest thing I remember was getting hit by a foul ball and like breaking my leg or something like that in the league. And I just remember, seriously, I just remember just like he said, working on personal stats. I mean, the biggest thing was like making the All-Star game and going there and having all the rest of the kids watch you. It wasn't so much, I mean, I hope I was never one of the kids who they didn't want in there, like down the end. But, there were a lot of, I mean, I would admit.
So you think the rule's bad or good?
Oh, I think it's a good rule. It's a Little League, maybe not like Babe Ruth, where the kids, there are some still unskilled kids who are still forced out to play there or just play because they like the game, but they're just horrible. I think it's a good rule. I mean,
does anybody think that they should limit play?
Well, I know.
In the league.
I mean, I don't think they should limit play, but they might. Well, what I would play, they limit pitching. 6 innings a week you can pitch.
Yeah.
And usually 2 games a week, so you can go the first 3 one game, second 3 the other game, or 1 complete game. And so I think that was great. I think that worked out well because you didn't have one guy, like we said before, the parent that didn't know baseball very well. His kid's a great pitcher, he's a great arm, and he's going to pitch him every day, because he wants to win the games. I don't think that's right. I think that limit should be placed. But along the same lines, I was thinking there were some teams I played on were good coaches, some teams bad, and how we worked was usually 6-inning games. Everybody had to play at least 3, first 3, last 3, or the whole game. And when my dad was coaching, he had really, in honesty, didn't really care about me so much because he knew that basically he wanted to keep everyone else happy. Because he didn't want to play favorite for me at all. So I was the guy that, if it was dark, would go out there and see if it was too dark to catch a fly ball. If I got hit in the head, he didn't care, I mean, obviously he cared, but you know what I'm saying? So what he would do was, the good players hit bat 7, 8, 9, because he knew those 3 guys were going to play the whole game and would get at least 3 at-bats. Whereas the guys that were playing half the game would bat 1, 2, 3, 4, because they'd have to come out halfway through, so they'd get at least maybe 2 at-bats, at best. And I think that was, to this day, that's one of the regrets I have of my other coaches that didn't do that. Because when I was 10, playing against 12-year-olds, I wasn't one of the better players in the league, for sure, or on my team. So I, a lot of times, get stuck playing the first 3 innings, the last 3 innings. And I wasn't hitting so well, so they put me down 9th. I'd get 1 at bat, and I'd play right field. That doesn't help a kid, I don't think at all. I think I got a boost of confidence. Kids will get a boost of confidence being the first guy. I'll maybe a little nervous and stuff, but being the first guy to bat. I think that, I think that's good.
Is the consensus then that as much as possible we'll have equal play?
I think so.
At that level, yeah.
At that level, definitely.
Absolutely. In all sports that we're just talking about.
Right.
Little League. So here's the
The other point I want to say, you're talking about limiting, possibility of limiting players. And I had the same experience, with our coach, and my kids are brothers. so I'd sit and stuff. But I also remember one situation was 1 year he didn't coach me. Like, I mean, I was the best on the team, whatever. The guy played me all the time. And I remember he sat down with me, and it was almost like I was on an ego trip, and I couldn't believe it. I was livid. And I think it was a good lesson for me to learn. I know, I think it was a great lesson, because you're not always going to play wherever you go. And if because I see it when I coach Little League kids now, I see it all the time. They think they're shit. They think they're awesome. And they go, and they have no respect, first of all, for kids that aren't as good. And I mean, I think that's part of the learning process in baseball, you know, learning how to deal with failure. And too many, I mean, what he's saying about coaches not doing a good job. I mean, too many coaches don't understand that people can get out of control egos. I mean, you see the out of control egos, you know, you read about college guys and pro guys that have always been told they're awesome. And I think when they're young, Little League is an excellent time to get that. Not to knock their ego down and kill them, but just to show them and make them understand that there are other people, and also that, I mean, the world isn't wrong.
How many players, you talk about the good players, how many players that you played, and you remember back, say when you were 12, and how many players went on to play high school baseball, and how many didn't?
We had, this one team I had, I think we won the whole thing. We had we had at least 6 guys on that team who were on my high school team my senior year. You know, we went to the state finals, so we were, you can imagine, we had third base, second base, shortstop,
So
2 outfielders,
out of the whole
pitcher.
team?
6 out of about 12.
12 people.
On my team,
No,
my
on
team,
the team.
yeah.
People know the whole league.
which is pretty damn good.
50% of them went on and played.
Yeah, and the others weren't too bad either. I mean, we had 2 really little kids who weren't too good, and then we had probably 9 decent, 6 of which went up to high school, and then 1 other kid who was okay.
Is that about the same?
Yeah, I was going to say, I had a huge advantage in Little League because I was younger. I'm younger than anyone else in my grade. And August 1st was the cutoff date for Little League. If you didn't turn 10 before August 1st, you know, you couldn't play that year. The following year in Little League?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you know, you were that age. You know, once you turned, if you were 13 before August 1st, you couldn't play. That was your end of Little League, you know? So we had guys that were born between August 1st and December that were in my grade, that were like the best players in my grade. And it turned out that we were together all through growing up, and we got an extra year at an easier level than everyone else in my grade. You know, I think that was great, because we stayed together. I mean, Andy Brown, he's a buddy of mine, he's playing, you know, center field for BC, and he's all Big East player, you know? I mean, we were together, and we ended up third base, shortstop, second base, right field, center field, catcher on my high school team. And our 2 best pitchers, you know, that we were together since we were 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then Lee, I think I'll agree with you, I think it definitely is unusual.
I think a lot of it has to do with the social conditions. I mean, I know because we had 3 little leagues in my town, and basically, most of the kids who I played with most of them were black kids, and most of them played basketball and played baseball and stuff. And so we played baseball, you know, until 12, 13 years old. Come high school, basically none of their friends wanted to play baseball, like other kids who didn't play along with them. So they were pressured more to not play baseball. So I had 2, like me and this one other kid who I played with in my league. We played, there were 3 leagues, the Northern League I played in. Me and one other kid played high school baseball. That was it. And so kids, it was just a social thing that, you know, kids had pressure not to play baseball because it was, you know, wasn't something that their friends, their buddies were doing.
Was it boring at that age to play baseball rather than soccer, where they can run around and do things? Eddie, did you find it boring when you were playing at that age?
No, not at all.
Not at all?
Not at all.
Okay.
Soccer is evil for baseball.
Well, that's part of it. That's part of the whole thing now that's taken over. But
In my time,
did you find that you kept enthused enthused enough to, obviously like the game, but with the other kids. See, one of my concerns is when I watch Little League kids practice, it's a lot of kids standing around throwing rocks at each other in practice.
Sure.
It's hard to keep 13 kids happy and doing everything.
Right, but why, if the person running the show knows how to get kids organized?
They don't.
It's hard at that age.
That's
though.
the problem.
Last 3 years I worked at a baseball camp for young kids, 7, 8, 9, 10 for 1 week. And we had 100 kids for 6 hours a day, and there was like 8 of us, 8 counselors. And we had such a hard time keeping kids out of the woods, keeping kids out of the stream. I mean, their attention span, you get kids who love baseball and who eat lunch in 5 minutes and then go out and start having a catch. And then you get other kids who eat lunch in 5 minutes and go start playing in the stream looking for a fish. I mean, there's a lot of kids at that age who really want to learn and who really want to. We got some great kids coming up. Our program, it's really helping our program, in my town. But there's just some kids who are there at a camp because their parents want them to be at this camp. I mean, I would assume it's the same as Lily.
How old are they? Camp is different.
Yeah, but I would assume that Lily's the same thing. You want to get the kids out of the house for a couple hours a night, maybe twice a week. They're young kids. They're second, third, fourth, fifth.
Are there more kids playing Little League baseball now than, say, 15, 20 years ago?
Not my town.
Not my time.
In my town, there is.
Stats though.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. The only way I can judge this, I know in my town, when I was 10, I think we had 10 National League teams, 10 American League teams. And we were Cardinals. We had not pro uniforms, but not everything. We had pro hats. And it was really everyone sort of got into it. I followed the Cardinals from then on. I mean, that kind of thing. And then everyone had their own sponsors. But then the next year when I was 11, 4 teams dropped, 2 from each league. And then the next year after, another team from each league dropped. So there's down to 7 teams in a league, each league. So there's, went from 20 to 14 in 2 years. And I know it's the same now because I've umpired, not in the last few years, but I mean, that's 10 years ago. It's gone way down, I think, because I think soccer does have a thing. Because when I was 10, 11, and 12, I played soccer and baseball, and I had no problem doing it. Maybe I miss a practice for a game, or miss a baseball practice, but for soccer, I miss a soccer practice for a baseball game. I don't think I ever missed a game for a game. Very rarely. And at that age, I'm not out of shape. You can run for days when you're 10 years old. It didn't really matter to me, stuff like that. So, but now it's getting more and more competitive at that age for soccer. And kids are playing when they're even younger, 7 or 8. Because I mean, soccer, it takes no skill. You run down the field, you kick the ball. So kids can play when they're so young. And now they're forcing them not to play baseball. They're saying, want to make a choice, and that's hurtful.
The spring leagues popping up everywhere.
Right.
Let me ask you one more question, and then I'm going to make another comment, and I'll let you guys keep at it. But is Little League baseball good or bad?
I had a great experience with Little League baseball. I mean, I was with my brother, because I think that's a major reason, was that he was my coach. But,
What are some of the drawbacks?
I think that we're too to put so much stress on winning for 12-year-old, 10-year-old kids, to put this pressure, and parents are in the stands screaming and yelling, and this is my kid, oh, he's up at the plate, and I think that really takes the fun out of the game for a lot of the kids. And I saw a lot of kids who just dropped out right there, and then when their parents would come out of the games and just and even umpiring during high school, a lot of kids just right there, they were just, you could tell they weren't going to play anymore.
What about that? Is that a problem, the parents?
Definitely.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I actually.
What can they do to remedy that?
I think that's a big problem in today's. I think it's a question of our society, because these parents, I have a kid. I want my kid to be better than every other kid. I mean, that's the mentality a lot of parents have. I won't say that's. I hope that's not the mentality I have, but a lot of your parents have the mentality that my kid is better. God damn it, I'm going to do every single thing that I can make it to have him better. If my coach doesn't play him as much as Bobby, I'm going to yell at that coach. Play him as much as Bobby. Play him more than Bobby.
What can they do to remedy that?
don't know. I think it's a
Why
societal.
I've often wondered this, why don't Little League baseball play in the mornings?
That's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
The only problem is, you got, who's on a coach?
We do. We play in the mornings on the weekends.
I played
Well, weekends different.
Weekends different.
There's evenings during the week when the parents can't go.
I played in a league where there was like hired coach.
We can't.
And there wasn't any problem with parents. It was I thought the competition pretty much came from the kids.
You're
It was
originally.
a really good
Was that 7th, 8th grade? Or was it?
seventh grade.
You see, like what I was saying is,
My sportsman, like, if you guys are a champion or.
I think there's a way to deal with it, and I think that it should be, has to do with high school baseball players. I think there should be a program for high school baseball players to teach and to coach Little League baseball. And to teach them, and to teach the high school kids to teach the younger kids how to enjoy the game. And you say you don't have a practice on Saturday. Okay, for baseball you have a Sunday, or instead of having a Saturday practice like a high school practice at 10 o'clock, you have the kid go down and coach at 10 o'clock in the morning, you know, and then in the afternoon you have practice or something. You make high school kids, because high school kids have enthusiasm for the game. They can deal with little kids. I mean, some kids are, some kids are problems, but then again. But then, I mean, I think that's what, and the younger kids will follow the lead of the older kids. I mean, I know if I was like, when I was 9 or 10, my brother was in high school. I mean, he was just God to everybody, because, I mean, he was a baseball player and he loved to play. And I think that's a way to alleviate some of that, is put it on the kids and say, look, we're playing this game for fun, and parents are removed from it. They're removed
Would
from
that
it.
work? Would that work?
I don't think there's enough high school kids who are willing, and I don't think there's enough high school kids who could do it, who could deal with kids that age. I mean, I didn't have a hard time dealing with, like I never taught Little League, but it's very similar working with kids at the camp. And there were some kids who were just totally unable to interact with the kids. I mean, they just barely talked to them at all. They just did the drill, got paid, and got out of there. I mean, I worked there for like 4 years, and the kids were always like, "Oh, you come back?" Because I was like goof around with them, like throw stuff at them, curse at them. They love it. I mean, maybe not that much of a role model, but they. No, but I know where to draw. I know what level the kids are at. And I just don't think. Looking back at my high school team, I don't think that with egos and with attitude, I don't think that at least half the kids would not be able to do it.
Aren't there enough people out of work, adults out of work?
Pay them?
Some of them, no.
Well, I think the best answer, a great example, because like I was saying before, I played on a team during the season, and we were really bad, and our coach was really bad, and I think that's probably the reason we were really bad. And he didn't command the respect of the players at all, you know? I was probably the best in the team, and I knew it, and I wasn't going to act like I was, but I mean, I understood his problem, and I tried to just stay out, keep my mouth shut, and I wasn't going to say a word to this guy, because it was a situation where people would sit and, read comic books on the bench, I mean, if I'm a coach, I'm going to tell my kids and say, guys, listen, all I ask of you is 3 hours, 2 nights a week, you come down and you play baseball, that's what I want you to do. You want you to play baseball, I want you to think baseball. And what happened was, when I played in the summer for the All-Star team, we had 2 dads who were just phenomenal men. And to this day, I still think they were probably the best motivational coaches I've ever had in my life. Both of them were very, very stern. I mean, I would never put my arm around one of these guys, But, I mean, God forbid we'd laugh at the opposing team if they made an error. I mean, if one of us laughed, scream right at us, I mean, we knew that if we got out of line with these guys, we were going to be talked to. But it wasn't like it would hurt me, it would help me, you know what I'm saying? And the key to the whole thing was the parents knew, too. And the parents had respect for these men, It ended up that all parents, and, we were together for like years, so as time went by, parents all became friends with each other. But at first, I mean, I was scared to death of these guys. I mean, but I would never, if my mother, even cheered for me, I would be embarrassed. I'd be, Mom, come on, please. I don't want Coach to yell. Please don't say anything, And so I think that's like, it all goes down. I mean, you can't attack everyone's parents.
In general, though, would you say that that you're gonna have good coaches.
No, I don't think you're
and
gonna-
have bad coaches.
Yes, I mean, that's a given.
So that it may be parents who are doing it, some parents are gonna be good at coaching,
Right.
some parents are gonna be bad at coaching. And with Mike's point of view, getting an adult, a young adult to do it, you can have good and bad, same thing.
Right,
Daniel
right.
With this camp.
Can I say one more thing on that? With the young adult thing, my basketball league, which is at the same age, was all coached by kids from high school, and that worked out really well. But I think it was a select group of kids who they were really willing to help.
So it can be done.
Oh yeah, I don't know about. I'm just saying from my experience, the kids that I played with in high school, and maybe it's just from my town, but in basketball they work really well.
Are you worried, Mark, about, say, there's some kids who have you can answer it the way you want, but bring this into it. Some kids are turned off by,
Because of that?
well, the coach who yells at them at that age. The coach who may not have any discipline from the other extreme, and maybe that's a bad experience.
Oh, yeah.
For a kid, and it might turn away from baseball into soccer.
I agree. Well, I really think it's a societal problem. So, I mean, if the coaches and parents aren't yelling at them, okay, or I say you have a good coach, a good parent, they will do something to help the kid. I mean, not in every case, but the kid will have every opportunity to learn the game, have fun of the game, and excel at the game. So, but bad parents and bad coaches, I mean, look at American society today. I think you see so much hell going on that, it's not uncommon to find parents going crazy at games and stuff. Okay, the question I want to bring out was, there's a debate about this in Little League in America, but is it necessarily found in other countries? Okay, I don't know that much about it, but in Taiwan or whatever, those countries have problems with parents out of control, bad coaching. I think Little League represents the society.
You're saying do they or they do?
I'm asking, okay.
I would say offhand, no.
I would say no.
Right,
It's so
I'm
much
saying-
more discipline. I mean,
Yeah,
Okay, well, I'm
Yeah.
saying it represents your society.
Yeah.
Okay, but say, was it Puerto Rico that had the the World Series this year? Philippines. I mean, they seem like America, sort of.
Yeah,
They're cheap,
yeah.
okay?
I also think it's
And I think it's a societal problem because of that. It's not necessarily a specific instance that can change something. It's more like
Right.
the society's got to change overall, and then as a result, Little League baseball
Well,
will
we
be.
know that's not gonna happen.
I have a
So
question.
what is the next best thing?
I have a
Divorce
question.
the parents from the program.
See, but I have a problem with
Yes.
that. I don't think that's good. I don't think that's good at all. I don't think that's good at all, okay? Because, in my situation, I was a little different. Because my parents both loved me and loved the game. But some kids, their parents, some kids that can't talk to their dads very well, I think it's a common thing.
Those
You know,
are the
kids-
people we're talking about, though.
Okay, right. Well, that's my thing. If I'm a little kid and my dad and I don't, not get along, but let's say I'm the youngest of 3 kids, and 2 kids are bigger, better athletic. I want my dad to go to my games. I want my dad to see that I can play baseball. I want to say, Dad, I hit a home run today. Good job, kid. That would mean the world to me, I would love, if my dad, when he came to the game, he'd say, you did good today. That was a good hit. I still remember the day that I was 3-0, and I swung and I fouled out to the catcher, and he just yelled at me for about 15 minutes after the game for swinging at a 3-0 pitch. It didn't hurt me, obviously, but to have my dad there, I thought that was very important. I would try to impress him. If I would think, you try to impress the coaches and all, but it's different. It's really different.
I think that can work conversely, though. I agree.
I agree, but
if you're a player, and
Right.
you strike it out, but I have a question for you, though. And why are you gonna, do you think that yelling at a 12-year-old kid for swinging at a 3-0 pitch, is that a good thing? Should anyone, should there ever be yelling at a kid? I mean, okay, maybe you reprimand them and you say, you know.
No, correct.
Yeah, it wasn't,
Right,
I just want to say yelling, it was not like,
I think that's
he's
part of
gonna
the
beat me up
problem.
for it or something like that.
But I think
Say you
that's,
were a terrible player and that happened.
right,
In general, though, so we don't get to specific things. If, do you think we'd have a better game in a sequential way if we divorced the parents from the game and played at a time the parents were working, and then the player could go home and say what he did, or read about what he did.
I don't think it's feasible at all.
And, all right, I'm gonna throw this next thing at you, okay? Pre-Little League, what was it?
Sandlot.
We had T-ball.
We had, we had,
No, I'm not
Sandlot in the 40s.
Oh.
I'm talking before
50s.
Little League. T-ball was part of Little League.
They go out in the yard and play by themselves, right? With no structure.
Exactly. There was no structure. The players organized their own team, okay? We played a 90-foot diamond. There was no Little League diamond. You had to make the throw from third base from 90 feet away. You did your own lineups. Now this is all instituted through Boy Scout leagues, YMCA leagues. And so that you had to get yourself to the game, you got on your bike and you drove to the game with your club. And everything was done without any adult supervision other than an umpire was provided. Okay? And the bases were there. Okay? But the players had to put the bases out, so they had an idea how to measure out the field. Even in those days, the bases were out there. But there was no parents at any game, and they allowed the players, one player from each team, to do a write-up of the game that appeared in the paper. And, who got the hits, who did this, who did that. Does that help you grow up a little bit? Does that give you responsibility and help you mature a little bit?
I think there's one problem with that though. I think, all right, now say I work, 50 hours a week, whatever, and I'm worried about whether my kid's going to be safe going to the game and coming back.
Why was it different then?
I mean, I just think I'm talking about like in my town. Yeah, I'm talking about it's a different world, exactly. I mean, I don't want my kid riding off to the game if it's 2 miles away. I don't want him riding his bike. He can get hit. I mean, I'm just talking about in my area, why that wouldn't work in my area. Is that, you got a good chance to get hit, you got a good chance to get kidnapped, you got a good chance I'm serious. To get, however, you get your bike stolen, some older kid's gonna beat you up and take your bike. And not to say that that shouldn't be, but I don't think it'd be as likely to happen without, what I'm saying is, that's why I think,
Did your parents take you to the games?
my brother did. I had my brother.
Did your
I
parents?
didn't have a choice. I was 3 miles away.
You went to every game?
Somebody did. Whether they dropped me off and stayed, or sometimes I had a friend. My mother, both my parents worked. Actually, my parents split, so it was just my mother. So she worked. So I had a friend would pick me up. A friend's mother would pick me up, drive to the game. My mother would drive him home and me home. That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that worked out. But I'd say that in my little league life, I'd say about 80% of the games were attended by one or more of my parents. Plus, I had, 4 grandparents who loved to go to the games too, and they were there as much as they could go, so that kind of thing too. So I guess I would say that I'm probably not the rule. I'm probably the opposite of the rule. I wouldn't judge me because as far as parental things are concerned, because
It doesn't make it right or wrong, and I don't want to bring up a personal part of this whole thing, but I watched some of the Little League games, very, very few Little League games, okay? I always watched them from left field and never got out of the car. Because I felt I would be more in the way, okay, than being in the midst of things and sitting with all the rest of the parents and hearing all the comments that
I agree. I'm sure that would probably be the case. I think that my son's
What
point.
kind of parent are you going to be, Mark? play Little League Baseball? What do you?
I like that
Are you
idea.
gonna make it so visible? Are you gonna try to stay in the back?
Or daughter.
What one?
I like that idea. I never really thought about like sitting in a car in left field in that way. I never really understood why parents would do something like that. But, see, I like that. I mean, that's a definite possibility. See, as long as you have this strong, like I would have strong background at home, you know?
The communication would be at home.
Yes, I think as long as that's strong, then if you're not visible at the game, I think that's excellent.
I'm going to be a coach. I'm just going to tell you that.
Coach.
I'm going to just say the
Oh,
converse.
okay.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
I coach too.
I'm just saying,
You're
like,
gonna coach them.
I'm going to coach my kids because
Yeah.
not because,
Do you think that has any adverse effect on you?
oh, I think it could, but I mean, I think it has to do with coaching. I think it has
That's
to,
important.
it's the coach's attitude. It's the coach's
It's the
attitude.
father's attitude.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is the coach's attitude.
I don't.
I mean, I feel, I mean, I know when
Would you
I,
want your father to coach you? No. I wouldn't want my father to coach me.
Really? See, my father coached me.
I know.
Mine did too, and I mean, I wish he'd done it more, to be honest with you. Because, I mean, I just had that one experience, those two guys that coached me, the two fathers, two of my friends, and I just respected them. I still respect them as much as I respect any other, men other than my father, probably. But, like, my dad is just like those two guys, demanding respect. And you don't give them respect, then just leave, forget about it, And that's the way it was with these guys. If you didn't give them respect, I mean,
So you're going to be a hands-on father?
I don't know. It depends. It depends. I probably see what's out there, I mean, if I don't feel my son's getting, well, I guess I'll have to, it all depends on what my son's like, because I was, I think I needed it as a kid. I think I needed to because I mean, I don't know if you want to keep bringing my own personal situation up, but I didn't have a father there, so I needed that extra, masculine male give respect, because my respect you give to a woman, to a mother, is different from the respect you give to a father. Yeah, that's plain and simple, And I needed that extra discipline, I think, and I think it definitely helped me out, in the long run. And I think my father understood that. That's why he loved these two guys, and he was very happy that they were coaching, because he knew that was. I still to this day I see him, and and I actually worked for one during high school and stuff like that.
Is
So
it possible to play high school baseball if you haven't played Little League baseball?
sure, definitely is. I think it's definitely possible.
You gotta be a very good athlete.
No, I think the only thing is just to get your. I think you got to get your training someplace else. I mean, if you get, if my dad plays with me,
Do you have to
all the time.
start that young?
No.
Well, to play or to succeed, have any
Well, let's say we eliminated Little League baseball from the American scene.
Yeah.
You started.
No sandlot either? Or?
Yeah, you play pickup games, you play whatever, wiffle ball, you play stickball, and until you get, now after Little League is what, Babe Ruth League?
Yeah.
Now, is the turmoil between parents, amongst the parents in Babe Ruth as there is in Legion Ball, as there is in Little League?
Not at all.
Why is that?
Well, see,
I agree with that. but
I mean, I can tell you, as soon as I hit 13, the whole atmosphere changed. Because it was kids that wanted to play baseball that were there. Not the kids that wanted to play baseball, but wanted to talk about, cartoons, but really sort of wanted to play with their cars in the dirt. It was guys that wanted to play baseball, okay? It was the guys that had to be able to make the throw from third base to the 90-foot diamond. That 13-year-old, that's a pretty big step to the 90-foot diamond. And if you couldn't handle it, it was a cut down. It was from, 20 teams to 4, in Dayton, the whole town, It was like, you gotta try out, you gotta make a team.
So why does that have any influence on the parents?
But, well, I was gonna say, the other one thing is, that's when you hit high school, and or I guess junior high school, and you're starting to get active socially, and your weekends are not only baseball and only sports, that kind of thing. and you know, and start, you know, you're not as nurtured by your parents as you were when you were 9, 10, and 11.
But why does that influence their decorum?
I think
I'm
that,
talking about parents and stands yelling.
yeah, I think they think they can handle, your kids can handle themselves a lot better than they don't need
They
to.
don't need to protect it.
That's what I think.
I think it's more loosely organized. Well, I don't know necessarily, is that true?
Right, well, maybe, I would say,
Little League is more structured.
Yes.
And is that legitimate? Do they let you think it all? I mean, do they let you do anything by yourselves? That's the thing. So I think society, what better way to give somebody confidence to take a group of kids and say, okay, you're going to line up the field. You're going to put the line up in today. You're going to do this. Exact question.
Yeah.
Just was always there for us. I mean,
Everything is there. Everything's done for you. Does that teach you anything?
No, but, I mean, if you can learn if you want to, by looking at the
How
coach.
is it that nobody allows you to take that first step?
I mean, like you're saying before, I didn't play baseball in the summer, organized. I played, like you said, sandlot. We used to ride our bike, we used to go to the local field, we used to play, and we used to do all that stuff by ourselves because, I mean, there was some traveling league that I just played. Once the Little League was over in June, and that was it. Then school ended in July, and we used to play every day on our own. And that, and, what's that?
I see your point, though. I read a book for a class about something very similar to that. Is basically when you're in Little League, you're taught what Little League is about, and you don't learn the game for yourself. You don't learn the game. I mean, people see the game differently, you know. Like, and when you're in Little League is like so structured that it means this. Exactly. It's Little League. It's not baseball. It's Little League, and this is what Little League is about. And instead of like the wonder of the game is not Little League. It's the ball, the bases, and throwing and catching and fielding and hitting. And like it's a lot different.
I think, well, so do we, it seems like we kind of agree that sandlot and doing like your own thing is better. Okay, but you said you would not let your kid.
Well, it's tough.
Okay.
It's just.
So you're saying in the 90s, it's not as feasible as it was back when everyone did it in the 50s, 40s, 30s.
That's why I think.
So, is there any way around that? Around the problem?
I think it's also this. I think the reason why Little League developed was totally by parents. Parents' egos, like, you know, they have all these uniforms. You're talking about the Cardinal uniforms and stuff like that. I mean, that's ridiculous.
That's a great point.
That is ridiculous.
That's a great point.
Well, I
Dungarees,
I
dungarees,
disagree.
sneakers.
I love that stuff.
I fucking read them.
Well, see, this is the way society is. You can't change.
Well, I know. What I'm saying is, well, you can do
No,
something
society.
in baseball.
Society's not uniform. Society's dungarees and sweatshirts, sneakers.
Yeah, but I remember, you know,
Yeah, but
when I was 9, and not, when you were 9, all you got was a shirt and a hat, and you had to wear a long sleeve shirt underneath that, and jeans or sweatpants. But I remember, I was like, oh, I can't wait to get uniforms. I can't wait to get stirrup socks. I was like, oh, and then they do statistics at the end of the year. They tell you how much you fatted. Oh my God, I was like, so excited. Yeah, you know, I mean, that just was like, got me going.
But that's something that's there in you because it was expected that you would get this. But what if you waited till high school before you get that? What if for 11?
Right, okay, I agree with you there. I agree with you.
What if you just knew that you weren't getting to high school?
Yeah, I mean, either way.
You know something though? And now I realize, my dad wouldn't buy me cleats. He wouldn't buy, I wore sneakers, I never had anything special like that, and I never understood that. I had one glove, and that was it. And I took care of that thing like it was, like it was my best friend.
Oh man, that's what I had.
Oh, I believe you, man. But so like, and
Did you feel a little bit?
Good unit.
yeah, other kids had it, and I never understood it though.
Feel out of place?
Yeah, I just never understood it. I was like, well, they have it, why can't I have it? Like, and
But if
that's,
they didn't have it,
I wouldn't have any. I mean, I wouldn't know. What do I know?
Yeah, all right. Well, here's a question for you then. You did grow up playing fairly unorganized baseball.
boys
Yes.
love baseball.
When? All right. Well, so then you didn't get the whole high school, right? You didn't get the whole.
Yeah.
All right. Now,
Junior high.
junior high. Okay. Well, now when
7th, 8th, 9th.
when did Little League come in? How old were you?
Little League, Did you guys read the book? You're supposed to read the book and bring the answers here.
Well, here's my question to you is, did you say to yourself, boy, I wish I had that when I was a kid? Not at all?
No.
Why not?
I did a paper when I was in college, so Little League was going when I was in college, and I did a paper saying the ills of
Really?
baseball.
I mean, were you shocked when they had? I'm sorry. How old did you say you were? I mean, were you a parent yet? You weren't a parent yet.
I was in college.
You were in college, so you.
So I know Little League was going on when I was in college. It could have started when I was in high school.
Well, Kelly Swirsky's the first
He has the rookie
Hall of
card.
Famer.
He has the rookie card.
61.
He was 18, 61 probably.
He's 10 and 51. We played Little League in 51.
Late 50s, I think.
I think, yeah. Well, I know my father.
I was in high school.
Yeah, my father,
Senior high
played.
school at that time.
Mid to late 50s.
Yeah, that's probably right. My father played Little League. About 51, 52.
Of course, you never know what you miss if you haven't done it.
Right. Well, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, because like I remember these guys my history teacher in high school tell me a story how the first kid that came along with an aluminum bat, he was just like, oh my God, what is that? You know? And he said, I wish we had that when we were growing up. You know? That's what I was gonna ask you. But he said you didn't think that way though at all Little League.
No.
I mean, you didn't think for a moment you would have loved to have had uniforms and stuff.
No. Never got, as I said, I was in college, I was away from it, I didn't have anything to do with it. I think that Little League has done a couple of things in equipment that has made a big difference.
Definitely.
In baseball.
Safety.
Definitely.
That's right.
I mean, I'm sure you guys, you guys didn't have protection, did they? When you were age?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they did. Wow.
But the Little League was responsible for the helmets, Little League was responsible for cleats, taking leads.
That's spikes.
Spikes, excuse me.
Spikes.
And put, the studs, did away with, no Little League didn't wear spikes anymore, right?
High schools can sometimes.
Oh, high schools can.
We just got it again.
Some, yeah.
We
Mass
did.
and Texas were the only two that
Could?
had spikes.
Really?
We just got reinstated my senior year.
I wore
Yeah, spike
my
the
junior
kid.
and senior
And
year.
Little League had the greatest rule, and the worst rule in baseball is the drop third strike.
Oh.
That's the worst rule in
They
baseball.
don't use it.
They don't use it.
Steal, what about stealing?
Actually, no one has been able to explain to me why a batter who strikes out is allowed to run to first base because the catcher drops the ball.
I never understood.
Nobody's.
Never
What about
It's the
stealing?
worst rule because it hurts you. In many cases,
Aggressiveness of pitchers.
in many cases, you are allowing somebody who makes a bad play, swings at a ball 2 feet in the dirt, ball gets by the catcher and he gets first base. But Little League, they're smart enough to say, you're out.
What about stealing not until the ball passes the plate?
Yeah, that's what we did.
Yeah, I didn't even know that rule.
And we also played 6 balls because it was
Is that the rule now?
Yeah. Balls?
6 balls?
Six balls?
Whoa.
It's terrible.
Let me, what is,
You can't steal.
think about,
either 6 balls to walk or maximum 4 walks in an inning.
Which one?
It's different. Oh, we
You have like 10 run rules, stuff like that too.
We had
Yeah.
10 run rules.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
4 walks in an inning is almost fine.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's so hard for kids to throw strikes.
what, oh, I agree, I have,
It's tough, it's tough for kids.
what is the hottest thing that a Little League batter has to contend with?
Fear.
Fear?
Sure, get hit.
Get hit.
I
What
love.
tangible? What tangible?
Striking out.
Yeah, definitely striking out.
Success in general, or just
How tall is one field?
6'6".
How wide is the plate in the Little League?
17 inches.
How tall is the Little League kid usually?
4.5 feet.
There you go.
What size is the plate?
17 inches.
Why does he have a bad swing? Because he's trying to cover the plate. and he can't
Point.
cover it.
It's true.
I call
So
that.
what do you suggest?
There is no answer.
You can't strike the plate.
narrow the plate.
Right here.
You can't narrow the plate.
You can't narrow it because
I have
Why can't you narrow the
coach.
plate?
I have a
No
guy,
strike.
the coaches,
Never, there wouldn't be any strike.
the guy, yeah, right.
this is what we argued the other day.
guy, I was gonna bring this up.
I didn't.
Guy is on a crusade, sort of getting the plate smaller. But like you said, he wants the plate to be, I think, 4 inches less wide. But I don't think it's necessarily feasible. Inches.
Yeah, they're not walked now.
I think that's the word, that's the worst.
He attributes the decline, a decline in hitting to that fact. Sort of.
Is he just talking Little League or?
Little.
What do you think about,
It was the exact same reason. Winfield 6'6".
what do you think about starting that kid off a 1-1 count?
Does it really make any difference?
I don't know, that's what I'm asking. You don't think so?
How about,
I don't think so.
how about having parents, pitch the ball? Like, I've seen that, I put it this way, I've seen that. Parents, yeah,
That's
like
okay.
parents pitching the ball. So that you don't have the strikeout, the pitchers, the bad arms when you're a little kid, because physically, it's obviously different for a little kid to be throwing the ball six innings a week than for an adult to do it.
Yeah, well, but.
Wait, I'm talking about,
Eight,
I'm talking
12.
You
I'm
mean,
talking about until they were, say, 12 years old.
I'm at the lower level. If I'm a father and I pitch to my own team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let them hit the,
Or have someone,
everybody-
or have someone pitch
You gotta-
everything,
you gotta
an
have a
umpire or
neutral kid.
something. The umpire do it.
He called ball and strikes.
I think it,
Yeah, that's
One
true.
umpire.
Economic, maybe, yeah.
Only need one umpire. He was bases too.
I think Andy mentioned, have a rule limiting the number of innings. What do you have? 3 innings every.
You usually do 6 innings a week. You usually play 2 games a week, so
Yeah.
pitch a full game.
I think that rule should be in high school as well.
It is.
Some high schools.
Ours-
Yeah.
I wish they did.
No, I don't think the high school, I
We
think
would
it's
have more
I
college
think it's
pitchers
a
right now.
section or regional, I don't think
Yeah,
it's,
some high schools I say do.
yeah,
But it
we have
has to
that.
be, right, a state rule or
Like-
a league rule or something.
It's not quite 8, and then it's not quite 8 a week. It's like you need, if you pitch 7 innings in 3 days, yeah, something like that.
That's a Legion, American Legion.
Yeah, the Legion has a rule.
Great rule.
I
It is
just,
a good-
A lot of.
my sophomore, junior, senior year, all the aces burnt out their arms after the senior year.
Well, we had a guy that won that, the kid in Bridgewater, McDonald. I don't know if you ever had his name. Yeah, well, in the All-Star game he pitched. He was a year ahead of me, and he was, I think, 14-1, and he was, league tournament MVP, state tournament MVP, and look at him now. He pitched over half our games, well over half our games. But he's still fine.
The exception, and it hurts you, though, the exception of the 3 or 4 guys. who
Right,
put their
I agree.
arms.
I agree.
I'm not sure how many, they talk about Little League elbow, with pitchers, trying to throw hard.
Now why, from what I've read, the old-time pitchers used to pitch on 3 days rest all the time, right?
Not a lost rabbit.
But, okay, or maybe not even 3 days rest, they may have pitched 2 days rest, or, now we see these guys they need 4 days rest, all the time. You see all these arm injuries. What's the difference? Is there a difference in the game, or is it just that guys back then threw when their arm was sore, and guys now won't?
I think other sports, people play other sports when they're not playing organized Little League baseball. And I don't know, tell me if this is true, because I've read things about it, and this is what my opinion, is that people just don't go out in the backyard and throw. And that's how you strengthen your arm, I believe that, throwing. You gotta
How
throw,
mechanics?
They're not that
And if
good.
people aren't out throwing, they're instead shooting baskets or kicking a soccer ball, their arm's not going to develop, similar to the way people did back in the 30s.
So mechanics aren't bad for the arm, though? Is that what you're saying?
Well, here's what,
Do you hear what I'm
in Little League,
Yeah, I do.
Mechanics is bad if some young kids try to
Get out
throw.
there.
yeah, curveball. But in Little League, we had that limit, and I used to pitch 1 game, my brother used to pitch the other game every week. And if one of us would get in trouble, we won the championship, one of us would get in trouble, we had another kid who would come and pitch. And never ever did my arm hurt when I was younger. Never ever. I don't ever remember my arm hurting. My brother and I used to go out before the game. We used to throw 150 feet on the road, just throw, Just keep throwing. Whenever we had a spare time waiting for a ride to come or going to the game, we just throw. And I never ever had pain. And I don't think the mechanics are that important when you're that young.
A pain in your elbow.
Yep.
See, that everybody gets that.
Right now.
Your bones aren't fused properly.
Yeah.
At 14, 15 years old.
Right now.
Speaking of which, I gotta get
I mean, we had a Little League rule, you could not throw a curveball.
Yes, I know that.
But in the summer game,
Some kids are trying to spin it.
when the summer came around, we could throw a curveball, so it made no sense at all.
Yes, you can throw them in that Little League World Series playoffs.
I did that.
Yeah.
That's how I want it. That's what I thought.
But,
Remember when you shot the game, and really gave me some money?
I don't know, Mike, to answer your question, it's been asked before.
Yeah, it's.
I don't think people threw as hard. I really don't think people threw as hard years ago.
Yeah, but what about guys that threw screwballs all the time? man?
Except the exceptional people. You know, like Christy Matheson and Kurt Griffin. There are always exceptional people, you know, who can throw it in. There's some people who are gifted who never ever have a strap on.
Old House Radhorn, there he is. 23 straight victories. 23 straight nights.
because it seems like there's a lot of lament by like scouts and people that there are not as many good arms
Right.
in America today.
That's right.
And they treated field. Well,
No,
I
Ron Johnson
I'll agree
throw
with
rocks
you.
and rain.
No, I
Yeah,
absolutely, I
I
can see how that can be, that's a very good argument.
I believe that.
It's like kids going to play
Let's look at
soccer
him.
after they play
Hey,
baseball
well, I mean, look, you said he used to throw.
all the time.
I mean, if you really did that.
Yeah, I did. Sure.
I mean-
every day. I used to throw every day.
But look at your arm.
A lot.
I mean,
Yeah.
exceptional.
I never pitched in high school though. The three pitchers that we had 3 aces. One's not playing baseball, one's playing a rec team in college, and one burned his arm and had surgery. So I think if I had pitched in high school and I put that stress on my arm, my arm would probably be damaged.
Yeah, but when you're young, the formative stage, before
Yeah, I never-
your arm progressed to the point where now you have
You know,
excellent arm.
Little League, you're throwing how far? 45 feet?
Yeah. But no, it's not pitching Little League, it's throwing.
Yeah.
There's no question there are. The fewer, they claim there's definitely scarcity of good arms. Now,
But
take college baseball, all the games they play now, Division I. Okay? They need 12 pitchers on the staff. Most, province, college, all those things have about 12 pitchers on the staff. And it comes back to what Mark said. They're tuned to pitching once every 5 days. You get 12 pitchers on the staff. Okay? So I think there are a lot of pitchers around, but
Yeah,
I'm
well,
not
I
sure
was gonna
if
say-
there are a lot of good pitchers around.
I mean, the Big East, guys, I mean, there are 3 guys on every team that only pitch on the weekend.
That's exactly.
You know, that's all they do is they pitch every Saturday. You know,
Saturday, Sunday.
there are 3 aces pitch every Saturday or Sunday. You know, I mean,
Saturday and Sunday.
that's how it works. You know, I mean,
And then they get the middle
Right.
of the week pitchers.
middle of the week pitches a freshman or something, they gotta bring along.
I don't know enough about it. They pitch like both days, Saturday and Sunday?
No,
No,
what they do is
No,
every
they'll have-
Big East, they have a
starters, and the games, the 3 starters they have a double header on Saturday and a single game on Sunday.
That's
vice
big.
versa.
The guy only pitched 1 game a week.
right.
Exactly right.
Every Saturday pitches. That's what all the Big East pitchers do.
A year ago, Providence College best pitcher didn't have as many games as Joe McGrath.
No relief pitcher, no relief, like, in
Oh,
the
yeah,
week.
all kinds
No,
of.
no, no, I mean,
No,
they
never-
don't throw relief during the week? Once a week? That's,
That guy Migliosi from St.
Yeah,
John's a few years
yeah.
back, he'd pitch every Saturday. He was like 8-1 for the season. And all week he walked around with his arm in a sling because it hurt so much.
I can't believe that.
He walked around with his arm in
I
a
don't know, I mean, I just can't believe it. That's hard to believe.
Yeah.
I mean, you figure that the kid will get
Don't
a...
forget, we're in an age of specialists, You're a starter, you're a reliever, you're a closer, or you're pitching in the middle innings.
Question. You said that you believe there are not as many good arms around today, but you also believe that people don't throw as hard.
No, I said they didn't throw as hard years
No
ago.
harder.
Right, so, years ago, people didn't throw as hard, but there were more people.
That what?
Years ago, people did not throw as hard.
And that's my opinion.
Okay, but more people could throw above average, say?
Good pitchers.
Like now, there aren't as many
good guys, but the good guys are best. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
It's a variance between the
Let's
best
put it,
now.
let's put it this way, I would have much rather been a pitcher years ago than I would today, if I want to get people out. But that's much better, you know, speed. And, yeah, you take especially a college pitcher, now you stand a chance.
Sure.
With the aluminum bat,
Yeah, right.
you know.
Oh,
There are more walks, so many more walks now in college baseball. And
But that's like,
so many more errors in college baseball now than there used to be. I'm talking about college baseball.
Isn't that what
The reason for that is because no pitcher wants to throw the ball down the middle of the plate
Exactly, they won't go inside.
and won't throw inside. Plus, the ball comes off the bat quicker, so you can get more errors.
Yep.
So I think the pitchers are up against it now, so, you know, the lament that there aren't as many good arms, that may be true, but they also need more good arms in the majors, right? That you
Yeah,
get 10, 12 more pitching staff, right? More
Plus, it's more teams too.
more teams. More teams, and when they expand, the 2 expansion teams, there's going to be, but there are fewer minor league teams now than
Yeah,
there are.
way fewer.
I know.
But it was,
many fewer minor league teams. They just can't, the reason for that now is economics, they want to.
Yeah,
It's
they used
like-
to have 3 or 4 rookie ball teams before.
they used to have like 4 times as many. Well, they had D, C, B, A, AA, AAA.
Did you have any pitchers on any one of you have any pitchers on your team who hurt their arms as little league players?
Never.
No, I've seen a kid break his arm on a pitch.
Someone last thing you expected. So,
11-year-old kid.
Legion ball player.
Great pitcher too, hit through hard. Comes over with his arm, next day comes back with a cast on. Snaps the elbow.
So that, you don't think that's a problem? See, with Little League Baseball and Little League, I think it may be a little too young for the bodies to play those, especially football. I'm so much against football and football. It's incredible. But baseball almost,
Did your kids play football?
no. They played high school football,
High school.
really, but never played Pop Warner.
That's interesting. So what made you say when your kid's 15 years old in high school that he couldn't play?
No, I never told my kids they could do anything, but not do anything.
it's a lot of sure.
Just like I never told them after a baseball game what they did wrong or anything, that we talked about the game. But, I say never, okay. But, no, when it came time to play, they asked me about it, and I told them my feelings about it, and that was the end of it. But they all played high school. I never played football until I was a junior high school.
My parents were really good.
I don't play when I just seen you though.
I played.
All I did was play Pop Warner.
I played Pop Warner.
I only played Pop Warner. Once high school came along.
I don't know, I think we, you know, obviously, you start the kid off, he's gonna learn something about baseball, not just about Little League, but, you know, I understand your point. But there's so many ills involved in the game, and part of it, I think, is Eddie mentioned, the kids who are, you know, not quite as good, what effect that has on even some of the good players who are expected to do better, you know, why don't you hit a home run every time, you know? And I guess kids survive. Nobody will ever be able to prove one way or the other.
What was that little writing right up they had about arm problems? What you gave us last week?
Yes.
Have it there? That it was that it's all. I mean, it's not even true. That there's
No, that was from a Little League.
Right. 2 studies.
That's not even true.
Somebody trying to promote Little League.
Right. Same.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah.
I think that just like anything else, when you're younger, you can run forever.
Yeah.
I used to throw, I could take fly balls until I was blue in the face and throw them from center field to home plate. I never hurt at all.
You are an exception, honestly.
I need you to mock me.
I was myself when about a year and a half in high school, right? Every day, just lift
Right in
my
here.
arm.
Never ever.
Lift my arm.
My arm, you never hurts till I came here.
Oh, I know.
back on Thursday, but it never hurt in high school.
What
And I never iced either, I never took care of it.
What kind of pain is it though? There's a
I'm
difference.
just tired.
There's
Science
more
around
than
the work.
sharp pain.
It's a muscular thing.
No, I think it's gotta be bad.
That's fine.
In any condition, you have to break down before you build up. And
So they talk about.
right now, that's the stage we should be in,
Right.
you know.
Coach,
And by summer, you should be all right. That's the problem with college baseball. By the time
Upset.
summer comes along, you're dead.
Who's Steve? Was that you who was talking about that? Trying to make college baseball summer?
No, that's the
Gary Ward.
Who? Gary Ward?
Player?
Oklahoma State.
Well,
Oh, that kid.
there's a proposition not to start any games before like March 15th, so that they would go in.
I think that'd be great.
In the June, you know, you could start
Great.
practicing and all that March and start playing the games.
It would kill.
What's 10 days? What's 10 days gonna do?
So many things.
Great, because they're like, how many basketball
10
players?
games.
Some teams are 8-0.
What are you talking about?
Some teams,
For us.
8-0? Some teams,
Oh, for us?
some teams
It
play
wouldn't
like
matter.
20 games.
No.
Like Arizona State play at least 20 games.
Division one.
How many
Like,
basketball players do you have to play baseball? I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, you got, who's the kid?
It won't happen.
Any age.
Too much of it.
No, who's the kid?
Stop her up.
Kenny Lofton from Arizona.
All right.
Kenny Lofton,
Yeah.
center fielder for the Indians. How much baseball did he play in college? How much better developed pro would he be right now?
You don't know that.
Right, but you have to assume that he'd be a better pro. I mean,
At what point?
Because he plays basketball.
because I'm saying if you have a later season, he'd be able to play basketball and then baseball. And win this
Yeah.
year. That's what.
That's his fault.
This
Great
this
athlete.
is off the subject a little bit, but the other thing is that,
We killed this subject.
the other thing is that there are fewer 3 and 2 sport athletes now than there used to be.
Professional at a
No.
level? Or,
No,
Professional,
no, I mean, I'm serious. I mean, I would, like, in high school level or college level?
The attrition is more as you go along.
Well, because
And
what I
then you go in
would
high
see,
school, that, look at, I can name it 3 or 4 or 5 kids here who are doing either football or baseball.
Right.
And came here as both.
oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Well, because what I was going to say, my high school coach, my freshman year of baseball, I went to high school, but I played football, didn't play basketball, I played baseball, that was it. And stop. And so, no, what I was going to say, my high school coach came up to me and said, Mike, we figure you to help the program out, the baseball program out before, you're done. But I think that it will help you if you play another sport here. He's like, do you want to go off the football team? I was like, I don't want.
Was he involved with football?
No, not at all. He goes, what about soccer? And I said, well, I played when I was younger. I guess I'd give it a shot. And so I ended up playing soccer the next 3 years of high school. He said, he's like, you're up there, 3 and 2, 2 outs on the ninth,
I believe that.
it's going to help you. He goes, if you're up there 1-on-1 in the free throw line, it's going to help you get a hit at that 3 and 2 situation.
100%.
So I was like, the more I thought about that, I was like, I definitely.
Draw from other sports, carry over, it helps you.
Right.
All right, give us another question. We'll kick one more.
Well, okay, I mean, we talked about arm problems, we talked about kids that don't want to play, we talked about overzealous parents, we talked about the line between winning and letting everyone play kind of thing, and rules that govern how much everyone will play. Well, one thing I wrote down was the Little League World Series. How competitive it is, and whether you think that's good or bad. I know, Mark, you think it's bad, right?
I think it's bad. That's what it is.
Yes.
For the World Series?
I do. I don't know. A couple days ago.
Anybody think it's good?
I think it's good. It's something to shoot for. I mean, if I'm a young kid and I'm playing in the league and we're gonna go to the tournament, I think it's great.
You know what,
You represent the country.
Here's the thing, do you know how it works? Because I can tell you how it works, because we get snubbed from it. I mean, because when I was 12, that was the year the guy from Kirkland, Washington won it. Cody Webster.
Cody Webster, 6 feet tall.
He's like 6 foot tall, blonde hair kid. They beat Taiwan for the first time in like 5 years. And that was the year I was 12. And I remember so distinctly saying to myself, why aren't we there? Why didn't we get a shot at going there? And one thing led to another, and our coaches have to explain it to us. What it is Norwood, I know, did this thing. There's 2 tracks. There's like one track that we were on where you play a season, you know, a bunch of teams in the area, and then you go to tournaments on weekends, stuff like that. Their track was you're in the tournament. You're in a tournament, and that's it. Once you lose 2 games or whatever, you're done for the summer.
1 game.
Well, no, I think it was like a 2-game thing. But
We played.
Huh?
We played.
did you go in 1 game?
1 game.
You lose 1 game this summer, you're done. See, that's yeah, and I mean
Until you get to like regionals where then it's done.
Okay, all right, that's what I'm saying. I mean, and I was just like, more I thought about that, I was, well, I mean, I don't think it's really worth it unless you're being so incredible that you're gonna make it there, you know?
Yeah, we lost 1.
Right, you lose 1, your summer is over, so that's
Wasn't a
the
big
problem.
deal.
You know what I mean?
But I think it's just an example of all that's bad that we've talked about today. That like, it's just, like, extra bad there.
Yeah.
Who makes the decision what track you go?
Well,
I mean, our coaches, you know, obviously use their head and
It's
said,
their ego.
I want these kids to play, you know, 25 games this summer. And no,
That's good. The harmful to get all that,
I was saying, yeah.
all that hoopla at that age.
I think it is, definitely.
Can you handle it?
No way.
no. A million people watching? I mean, that's just.
No way. Just look at, just
Kids
look
are
at all the
prepared.
TV movie stars and stuff.
Kids are prepared for
What?
You gotta figure all these kids are pretty mature anyway if they're gonna be that big.
12?
Look at the kids from the US team. They're always playing. Look how-
Physically.
No, I think
Who cares?
Yeah. They're gonna be mature in general. You think it's psychologically harmful?
Upstairs? I don't think necessarily.
I do.
I do too.
I think so
I
too.
can't believe it.
Look at Cody Webster,
Can't
where's he?
believe a kid can come back from one of those things, go to school.
Carney Lansford's
not
the
have
only
it
one.
affect him. In the classroom, everywhere.
Connie Lansford, Jeff Burrows.
You got the summer, Jeff Burrows.
So we had some recruit,
Yeah.
he missed it by a year. He was a shortstop the year after John won it. I mean, the year before.
Yeah, Teddy Drury's little brother.
I don't know how sociological effects teams have. They get family and stuff. They're like celebrities.
Yeah, we're in Sports Illustrated. Trumbull, Connecticut's pictures in Sports
Yeah.
Illustrated.
Oh, Drury's almost like Inception.
Parade.
Chris Drury. Because, I mean, his brother's a stud. Plus, he
What
was.
is it left for a kid like that?
Yeah.
Everything else is gonna
It's
be
like
down
Texas
there.
football. It's like,
Texas high school football, yeah.
yeah, Permian. Odessa.
Oh, Mojo.
You read that book? Was it?
Yeah, no,
Sorry,
I saw him interviewed on TV, the author.
Oh, really?
I know, I did read it. I tell you what, I read it in Reader's Digest.
Okay.
It
You're supposed to.
Yeah.
was condensed.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much, and see you next Friday.
What are we gonna talk about?
I'm gonna just take up some questions.